a weekly feature at 9 to 5 Mac that provides a concise summary of the latest rumors surrounding Apple products along with discussion and analysis. Today, reports on the iPhone 17 Pro Max and SE4, as well as a purported Apple intelligence paper. These are the Apple rumors for this week. Last week, Mark Gurman covered a leaked internal document from John Giannandrea, the head of AI at Apple, for Bloomberg. Kim Vorrath, an Apple veteran, would hold a senior position on the AI team, according to the message. Gurman stated that she will be responsible for whipping artificial intelligence and Siri into shape. Giannandrea listed two primary company priorities for Apple Intelligence this year in the memo as well: rebuilding Siri's fundamental technology and enhancing current ANI models. It's exciting and a bit concerning that Apple is sending an experience fixer to the AI department. On the one hand, Vorrath's participation is encouraging for the company's AI future. Naturally, though, it also illustrates how Giannandrea's team has struggled with poor management. Although the company's two goals for the year make a lot of sense, they also seem quite cliched. The memo wasn't exactly a top-secret document, so perhaps I shouldn't read too much into it. However, I'd assume that organizations such as OpenAI have much more ambitious and innovative internal agendas. Although large language model Siri might be seen as a hazardous change, these actions appear to follow the usual Apple iteration pattern. But in the end, I believe Apple is working on a lot more fascinating AI innovations than the message suggests. There have been long-standing rumors that Apple's largest new iPhone this year, the iPhone 17 Pro Max, will include a much narrower dynamic island. This shift was expected since it was commonly believed that the center cutout will eventually continue to shrink, much like Apple did when it shrank the notch into the current dynamic island. However, it appears that the Pro Max exclusive will not be happening this year after all, according to Ming-Chi Kuo. I anticipate that the dynamic island size will essentially stay the same throughout the two H25 iPhone 17 series, he stated. Although Kuo seems to be purposefully denying the earlier rumor, the phrase largely unchanged still allows for some flexibility for potential adjustment. Apple gives its Pro Max models unique benefits in some years, but in other years they are essentially the same as the smaller Pro choice. I usually get the smaller Pro, so I'm a little happy that there isn't much Pro Max envy this year. I have no problem with the size of Dynamic Island as it is, but this rumor makes me question whether Apple will continue to use the current design for some time to come. Regarding the impending iPhone SE4, there has been a lot of back and forth between various sources. In particular, there are contradictory claims on whether the device would have a dynamic island or a notch. Ross Young, a display analyst, stated this week that the upcoming iPhone SE will have a notch similar to the iPhone 14. When it comes to supply chain rumors, especially those involving displays, Young has a solid reputation. I thus consider his statement to be official confirmation of what Apple's upcoming iPhone SE will include. For Apple's low-cost iPhone, the dynamic island always seemed like a step too far. It will already include many of the features found in the iPhone 16 class. Apple must provide consumers with compelling reasons to spend money on the flagship model. It's completely reasonable to give the new SE a notch. Subsequently, Apple is working on a new iPhone SE model that is anticipated to have some significant modifications. Along with a new, larger size, Apple will also include support for Apple Intelligence and remove Touch ID. Based on the iPhone 8, the third-generation iPhone SE is now Apple's smallest device. It is the only iPhone with a Touch ID home button and substantial bezels, and it is 4.7 inches in size. According to speculations, Apple is planning a new design for the upcoming iPhone SE upgrade, which is expected to change that. Similar to Apple's premium iPhone series, the fourth-generation iPhone SE will have an all-display design. Face ID will replace the Touch ID home button. According to reports, the display will be much larger than the present iPhone SE, measuring 6.06 inches. With Face ID biometric authentication and instead of a Touch ID home button, the upcoming iPhone SE is anticipated to resemble the iPhone 14. Apple switched from using Lightning to USB-C with the iPhone 15 series, and the iPhone SE4 is also anticipated to have a USB-C port. The iPhone SE4 will have a single lens camera to save money, but it may use the 48-megapixel main lens seen in the iPhone 15. The iPhone 14 has a dual lens camera. Apple is anticipated to use the same rear chassis production method for the SE4 that it used for the iPhone 16, despite claims that the SE4 will be designed after the iPhone 14. According to a number of reports, the iPhone SE4 will feature a notch in the design similar to the iPhone 14. Additionally, Apple might replace the mute switch on the iPhone SE with a multipurpose action button. Beginning with the iPhone 15 Pro models, Apple introduced an action button to all models with the iPhone 16. However, because neither action button or camera control button was visible in the leaked dummy models, these features have raised questions about their existence. Because case makers pay a lot of money to obtain the information, dummy models are frequently an accurate picture of what we may anticipate from future iPhones. Additionally, there is significant financial gain in being the first to create an authentic case for an iPhone. Other iPhones in Apple's lineup have OLED screens, whereas the iPhone SE is the last model with an LCD screen. Since the iPhone 12, Apple has made all of its flagship iPhones with OLED technology, and it appears that the upcoming iPhone SE will do the same. Instead of using LCD will no longer be used in the iPhone series if the SE4 does, in fact, come with an OLED display. OLED display modules for the iPhone SE4 are already being sourced by Apple. Apple has been using a notch for premium iPhones since the 2017 iPhone XR, and it is anticipated that the iPhone SE will follow suit with an all-display design. Given the cost of the hardware, it is unclear if the iPhone SE will feature Face ID and the True Depth camera system, but a notched display will allow Apple to insert the front-facing camera. The iPhone SE's earlier notch design will make it stand out since Apple switched to the dynamic island for the premium iPhone series. Contrary to other speculations that have predicted an iPhone 14-style design, one dubious rumor has claimed that the new iPhone SE will have a dynamic island rather than a notch. Ross Young, a reputable display specialist, reportedly stated that the iPhone SE4 will include a notch rather than a dynamic island. The 12-megapixel front-facing camera in the notch is the same one seen in the iPhone 16. Although a single-lens back camera is anticipated for the iPhone SE4, it will apparently be upgraded to a 48-megapixel sensor. The rear camera of the new iPhone SE is 12 megapixels. It is anticipated that the A18 chip, which powers Apple Intelligence features, would be present in the iPhone SE4. To put things in perspective, I use an iPhone 12 for most of my daily tasks and an iPhone 15 Pro for testing out Apple Intelligence capabilities. The screens on both of those phones are 6.1 inches. In the meantime, I'm also finishing up testing on the Galaxy A35, a 6.6-inch Android smartphone that competes with the iPhone SE for the best low-cost phone. I felt as though I was using a postage stamp-sized screen when I was using the phones and then switching to a 4.7-inch iPhone SE. In contrast to the more or less edge-to-edge screens of those other phones I mentioned, the top and bottom of the screen have some extremely hefty bezels, which doesn't help. This design choice reflects the necessity of installing a Touch ID sensor beneath the home button of the iPhone SE, something that contemporary iPhones do not have to worry about because they use Face ID to unlock the device and authenticate Apple Pay transactions. However, this ultimately makes the already small iPhone SE screen feel even more claustrophobic. I had the impression that I was browsing through a kid's phone. All of this may be attributed to how quickly technology can advance in just 2 years, and how preferences and behaviors can shift when we discover a better way to accomplish tasks. In this example, reducing phone bezels to increase screen size. Since the current model was basically a repackaged iPhone SE 2020, with 5G connectivity added, it is understandable that the design of the iPhone SE 2022 felt outdated when the phone was released 2 years ago. According to a recent leaker who has previously given accurate information, the iPhone SE4 will use the T8140 chip, which is an identification that does, in fact, match the A18. The minimum need for Apple Intelligence 8 gigs of RAM is anticipated to be present in the next generation iPhone SE. It is anticipated that the iPhone SE4 will be the first gadget to use a 5G processor created by Apple. For a number of years, Apple has been developing its own modem chip in an attempt to reduce its dependency on Qualcomm. The iPhone SE4 should have a comparable battery life to the iPhone 14 because it will employ the same 3279 mAh battery. Although there are rumors that the next generation iPhone SE would be called the iPhone 16e or the iPhone 16e, no trustworthy source has yet to corroborate the information. Despite being improved from Touch ID to Face ID, the iPhone SE 4 is anticipated to be more affordable than previous versions. It may start at $429, which is the same price as the current iPhone SE, or it may go up by about 10%. Even if the price goes up a little, Apple intends to keep it below $500. What conclusions did you draw from the Apple speculations this week? Tell us in the comments section. So, that's all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to our channel for more exciting updates on the latest technology. Thanks for watching.